Hi everybody, this is Justin Elliott with Elliott's Estate Sales, and this is going to be segment number 8. And I said this was only going to be an 8-part series, but I fibbed. Actually, the people that work for me and the people that have shopped with my sales, they actually have pointed out 2 more instances that I think that I've actually forgot. And again, all of this, input from the names of the segments and even some of the, titles. I polled folks on what they wanted this to be called, and this is something that people wanted to hear and know about. So if you like this content, please like, comment, subscribe below. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed yourself while watching this. So, okay, I'll go ahead and get into it. Now, this particular estate sale takes place in a really upscale part of town, and it was upscale like, maybe 30 years ago. Now, it still has the history, and when you say the neighborhood name in Oklahoma City, in Oklahoma City, a fancy house is $1 million house, whereas in other parts of the world, $1 million house is, an apartment. So in Oklahoma, your dollar goes very far in real estate. It's very inexpensive to live here with real estate. Property taxes is dirt cheap, but there is sales tax on absolutely everything that you do, unless you are, tax exempt war veteran or disabled veteran. And from what I've heard, we're the only state that acknowledges anything like that with sales tax. We're sales taxed on our food, we're sales taxed on absolutely anything that we buy, period. Moving into this particular sale, it was going to be a really nice sale. It was about a 4,000 square foot house, 2 stories, really nice house, prestigious neighborhood, and in a neighborhood where, people are really, the people that live around us are, trash, and we live in the great nice neighborhood and we went to college to drive our Mercedes and have this big giant nice house, that kind of neighborhood. So I get there, and the house is very clean, very, very clean. Someone had died, I think either mother or father of the heirs that were hiring me to do the estate sale. And, I asked certain questions about the estate sale before I took it, because in this particular area, and if you're wondering about the area, it's called Oak Tree, okay? Oak Tree is a private neighborhood that owns the streets. And that means they have an HOA. That means they can control whether or not you can have an estate sale or not, because they own the streets for you to be able to drive in on. And if you violate any of their, codes or policies, or violate any of the rules and regulations that you pay to be in that HOA, they will fine you. And if you don't pay, they'll put a lien on your house. It's that serious of a kind of deal. So me being from Oklahoma, and me being an estate liquidator, and me doing this for over a decade now, anybody and everybody knows that if you're going to have an estate sale of an Oak Tree, you have to have specific approval from the actual country club, because it is a country club. And you have to have it in writing, or you can have an estate sale, period. And it's like that with several other neighborhoods that are here in Oklahoma. Hall Park and Norman, they don't like to have an estate sale either. They own the streets. There are places in Gaillardia is another neighborhood that if it is owned by the streets or owned by the neighborhood, they can control what you do. But if your streets are city, then if city is, it's a public street. You can do whatever you want. You can't stop it for any reason unless the city has made you stop it. So I hope that makes sense to you. This is the reason why the sale went sour, actually. I set up the entire estate sale, did everything. House looked great, okay? Photographed everything. It was a beautiful home, picture perfect home. You could move right in. Nice stuff, good quality stuff from the early 80s, 90s, and 2000s, right? And they reached contract. Before I signed the contract with them, I put in writing, and several writings actually, in text message and email and over on the phone. I wanted to confirm that she had permission to have a sale in Oak Tree, because it's just very rare that you would be granted such things unless an attorney had got involved or the state had got involved to make the HOA do something. Because in order for you to change the color of your roof in an HOA, you're going to have people vote on it for most cases. They literally control anything and everything you do on the exterior of your home, and sometimes the interior. So, we went to have the sale, we advertised the sale. I had a call Friday evening, actually, and it was from the seller. And she was very sympathetic, and it sounded as though shit was about to hit the fan, like it happens sometimes. Well, I said, I don't really know what to say. She explained to me when I asked her that if she had permission. She told me explicitly that she had permission, not to worry, that she had it under control, okay? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, if you've got it under control and I've got your, writing that we're gonna be allowed to do it, then I'm gonna trust your benefit. Obviously you're the one in charge, right? I'm working for you. Who am I to call, Oak Tree and say, hey, look, I'm throwing an estate sale in your neighborhood. Are we allowed to do that? It just didn't occur to me to do that. She seemed like a very competent person. And if I remember correctly, I think she was a lawyer. So that being said, she had canceled the sale. And nowhere in my contract does it say anything about postponing an estate sale. Nowhere in my contract does it say, if the HOA says you can't, that we will cancel the sale and make other arrangements. No. When I meet with you, I'm very direct, and you should have all your ducks in a row. And if you don't know about all your ducks, call me and I'll tell you. I'll tell you what to do. Make it legal for us to do an estate sale. I'll help you, I promise. But don't deceive me, okay? It was insane to see that someone that was so confident in herself would lie and literally just ruin the sale, okay? So she says she canceled the estate sale, and finally I got her to agree that she was going to pay the $5,000 termination fee, which she did, by the way. But she wanted to get her words in, and she did get her words in for that $5,000, let me tell you. So to collect the $5,000, I called one of my Oklahoma County sheriffs that worked for me because I wanted to make sure that everything was going to be civil, everything was going to be safe, and I was going to be able to leave the situation from Oak Tree and get in Oak Tree in one piece. Because, it felt really unsafe about it. And I wanted cash because I certainly didn't want a check and her to go back and, cancel the check. And if I remember correctly, I even made her sign that this was a settlement agreement and that we were done after this. And this, everything in the house was hers to do as she pleased. Well, we met. I had the sheriff come over there. I loaded up all of my tables, all of my supplies, and, it takes up a whole car worth. As she's handing me the cash, she has two other girls, I think her daughters, with her. And they called me every name underneath the sun, from my sexuality, me being short, me being somebody that held them and took them out of money. I was called a thief, and that was dishonest, and all this crazy, absolutely crazy, crazy stuff. And this is in front of a sheriff. And of course, we're just here to keep the peace, get our stuff, and leave. But she thought that she had been bamboozled. She thought she had been bamboozled. After I had spent 40 hours of labor and time going in to do this estate sale, and she assured me in writing that she had permission to do this at Oak Tree estate sale. So all I can say is shit happens. Anyway, on to the next.